Hi, Ian Paice here from Deep Purple and other guys. We're here in Nashville at the Tracking Room. Fantastic studio. Starting to cut a new Deep Purple record. Sounds great. Working with legendary producer Bob Ezrin, and that's an eye-opener. We're learning many new things when I didn't think there were any new things to learn.
Just new ideas and new tricks of the trade?
Just to be open to a little more in the way of possibilities. When you've been playing a while, you sort of get set in your ways. You know, you don't want to try this because it's not what you would have done normally. And he comes over, well, the drums doesn't sound right, man. Do this, you know. And you go, oh, and you accept that he's the commander in chief in that control room, and you take his advice and you go in and you listen. And you go, that's just better. And that once you've got through that initial self-defense mechanism and staying in your comfort zone, then everything becomes open. You know, we're changing snare drum sounds for different tracks, which I would go, that's my sound and that's what I'm staying to. But you go and listen and sometimes a certain sound doesn't work with a certain track, so you've got to be flexible. And I say, when you're a kid, you do as you're told. When you've been around a while, you tend to think that you've got it all down. Generally, you don't.
So, I mean, just all the legendary records and everything you've done, when it comes to writing, doing your drum parts, do you come up with some parts with the other guys, or how do you make it happen?
Well, when we create new music, it generally comes from one person, no matter what it is. When I come up with something, it'll be a drum rhythm, a drum pattern, and I'll start playing something, and that'll kick-start the other guys to start playing along, and the thing sort of comes out of nothing, you know. Sometimes it might just be a bass riff, and we all start fooling around with that, and then again you end up with something. So it's a free-for-all. We all throw in our 2 cents worth, and by the end of the day, hopefully we got a dime, you know.
Do you ever get the producers to say play less or anything, or?
Yeah. On this record that we're cutting now, the drum parts are fairly simple because quite a lot of the music is fairly heavy. And when you're trying to create something with power and size, the more notes you play, the smaller they get. So when you do play a note, you try and make sure it's an important note and you put it in the right place. So there's not a lot of finger technique in this recording. There's quite a lot of wrist and quite a lot of elbow.
Nice.
But at the end of the day, recording is an artificial medium. You think about it, you're actually playing for a machine. You're not playing for people. Eventually the people get to hear it, but you're playing for something which is totally unforgiving, and you have to get it right for that moment in time. That moment of creation lasts forever, outside of your control. So you just have to approach it a different way, and you just gotta, well, you have to get in recording mode. And sometimes more just doesn't make it. Less is what creates the emotion and the power or the swing or whatever it is you need. And just because you can do something doesn't mean to say you should.
Great point that you said some things last forever, right? I have to ask, did you know back in the day that Smoke in the Water would be the #1 guitar kid song in the world?
No.
The flag till this day. We were at the NAMM show and they were playing it yesterday at the booth.
Oh, it's hell, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. No, for us it was just an album track. We didn't think anything too much about it. It was just there. To us it was the da track. And it's only when the album was finished, which we still thought of it as just an album cut. When it went over to the States, to Warner Brothers for the pressing and all the rest of the stuff they were doing, one of their guys said, I like this track, but it's too long. So they just edited some stuff out in the middle, got it down to about 3 minutes, and chucked it out to a few radio stations, and it just blossomed from that. You know, at that point, you realise that, you know, we hadn't seen the wood for the trees. It was there in front of us, but we hadn't seen how powerful that track was.